Well, now I got a gal and there ain't no doubt.
I'm Wally Joe. I'm chef and partner at Acre Restaurant in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm very happy to be here. I'm basically a self-taught chef. I grew up in the family business. My family had a restaurant called KC's, who was my dad, for 37 years in Cleveland, Mississippi, which is deep in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. I was 10 years old when my parents bought the restaurant, so I was around it just about every day. I was there after school, washing dishes, sweeping the floors, doing whatever needed to be done. So just really all my life, my family had a great food culture. We went fishing. My dad he hatched and raised chickens, ducks, pheasants, squab, quail. So we always had fresh food at the table. My mom always grew, she had a large garden. She grew these Chinese vegetables that were hard to get back then. Everybody knows what bok choy and snow peas are now. You can find them in supermarkets, but nobody knew what they were back then. So my mom would grow those things in addition to other things like tomatoes and cucumbers and things like that. So we always been around fresh food. Grandma lived with us for a while, and she taught me. I killed my first chicken when I was 8 years old. And I don't, most kids don't do that. I got a banking and finance degree and didn't want to be a banker. I was going to go to law school, decided I didn't want to go to 3 more years of school to be a lawyer. So it was just in the blood growing up. You just, you try to get away from it, but it just draws you back in. I traveled a lot during my college years, so during breaks we would always take off for trips. We went to California a good bit, to the wine country, and I think it was at that point I really started getting interested in wines. We had very nice restaurants and saw the food that they were doing. It was so different from the food that we were serving at the time. I said, wow, this is great. I could do this. I always loved food. I always loved working around it. So I could do this. So, while I was, I guess after I finished school, I was going to hang around for a year to decide whether I want to go back to school or do something else. My dad and mom asked me to stick around and help because they needed the help. It was busy, and so that's kind of how I got drawn back into it. Just working there, just creating a wine list from nothing into a Wine Spectator Best Award of Excellence winner a few years later. Talking to winemakers, getting their wines, the thrill of getting their wines that wasn't available in Mississippi to come give us their product, to put their products on our wine list there in the middle of nowhere. They didn't have to do that. They saw our enthusiasm. They were excited. We were excited. So it was really right then and there. So I felt like we could do something special. I wanted to do something different with it. I made a deal with my parents that if I'm going to stick around, I wanted to do something different with the menu. Go in another direction instead of keeping the status quo and staying stagnant. It was a slow, gradual change, but he trusted me enough to let me go about it slowly, to gauge, I guess, the acceptance from the locals. I moved to Memphis 10 years ago to open a restaurant called Wally Joe. That was just kind of a natural extension. It was just a progression of what we started at KC's in Cleveland. We always had a natural built-in clientele from Memphis. It was only 2 hours away. As we gained notoriety and fame, people started coming from all over. Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, which is 2 hours south of us. Even a 500-mile radius, they were driving in and flying in. There's a little small airstrip that they would fly private planes in. We would pick them up. So Memphis, an opportunity came along in Memphis to open something up. We did. It was a good ride for a few years, but I left there to open Acre. And we thought it was going to be a project that was going to take a year to get open. A year dragged in 4.5 because we had to get the property rezoned. We had to petition our neighbors to allow us to serve alcohol because we were in a residential area. So a lot of red tape, a lot of hoops we had to jump through to get to this road, but it was really well worth it. Because during that time, we had a lot of time to really plan the restaurant, to make it a dream restaurant. Acre is definitely a fine dining restaurant, but it's casual enough, and the feeling is very warm and inviting that you can come in more than just special occasions. You can come in any night of the week, pop in for a drink, a snack at the bar. It was a former home. When we redesigned it, we wanted to keep the integrity of it being a home. So it's a space that we want people to feel like when they come down at Acre, it's like a dinner party in someone's home. We want you to feel like it's a guest. You're our guest for a dinner party. It's really, the menu there, the food that we serve is really a reflection on my heritage growing up in the Deep South in the Mississippi Delta. So you're going to see hints of the South on our menu. We'll use ingredients like grits, things like that. But you're also going to see a big Asian influence too, but simply because it's who I am. And really kind of come full circle. When we say local, we mean really local. We grow a lot of stuff in our backyard on the property. We grow our sprouts just like the rye. We grow our microgreens. We have a little thing in our attic with grow lights and stuff. We're growing microgreens, sprouts, and little small lettuces. Woodson Ridge Farm in Oxford, Mississippi is where we get a lot of our produce. It's all organics. It's beautiful fresh vegetables that's straight from the farm. They pick it and bring it straight to us. So you're tasting a beautiful beet or carrot or bok choy that was just picked that morning. It hadn't been sitting around in somebody's cooler for a week. We serve Human Farm Pork, which is 3 hours away from us. They're a local pork producer, farmer. Their lamb also comes to us. So again, going back to my growing up, eating food like that, or harvesting food like that, it's just what I know, and that's how I always ate. Those are my memories, and that's how I go back to that when I cook. It's gotten much better. When people think of Memphis, they naturally think of barbecue, but I think it's so much more than that now. We've been trying really hard to change that for the last 10 years, and I think we've gotten to that point. There are a lot of young talent that's coming up in Memphis, starting with my chef, Andrew Adams, who's doing some really good things. There's a couple other guys in town that are doing some really great things as well, so I'm really happy about that change.
Got a gal and ain't no doubt. It's so sweet to make my